torrential cloudbursts brought on by a volatile North American monsoon system have triggered catastrophic flash floods across the border city of Heroica, Nogales, Sonora. The extreme weather event has transformed major urban thoroughfares into raging, debris-laden rivers, resulting in at least one confirmed fatality within Mexican territory due to a severe mudslide, multiple injuries, and several dramatic swift water rescues. In response to the widening humanitarian and infrastructural crisis, the Mexican federal government, alongside military authorities, has officially activated the Plan DN-3E, a specialized disaster relief deployment, to reinforce municipal emergency teams, administer medical aid, and conduct search and recovery operations along heavily impacted drainage channels. The environmental emergency has simultaneously affected ambos Nogales, the paired border community divided by the international boundary. Across the borderline, public safety officials in Nogales, Arizona, confirmed that the storm system has claimed the lives of 3 individuals whose bodies were located in or near drainage basins connected to the international watershed. With local meteorologists predicting a continuous barrage of multi-cell thunderstorms over the coming days, the region remains under a severe meteorological and civil protection alert. The hyper-localized intensity of the monsoon cell concentrated heavily over the high-altitude topography of Sonora, funneling millions of gallons of runoff down steep gradients directly into urban zones. Civil protection authorities confirmed that a massive mudslide and structural collapse caused by soil saturation claimed the life of 1 individual. Additionally, emergency responders pulled dozens of people from semi-submerged vehicles that had been carried away by fast-moving waters. A synchronized cross-border crisis emerged as the search and rescue teams terminated a multi-day operation following the discovery of 2 bodies floating face down in the Nogales Wash. A 3rd victim was extracted further north near Rio Rico, Arizona. Investigators strongly believe these individuals were originally swept away from the streets of Nogales, Sonora, and pulled across the international border via underground subterranean conduits or overflowing open-air concrete washes. Eyewitness footage and official aerial drone surveys revealed the absolute scale of the destruction. The city's geography, historically defined by canyon passes, exacerbated the flash flooding. Main arteries such as Avenida Tecnológico, Calle 5 de Febrero, and Avenida Álvaro Obregón effectively ceased functioning as roads, converting into deep, brown whitewater rapids. Multiple compact sedans, commercial delivery trucks, and even roadside food stands were lifted off the asphalt and carried downstream, piling up against bridge columns and blocking critical drainage outlets. Recognizing that municipal first responders were being rapidly outpaced by the sheer volume of emergency calls, the Mexican Army, Ejército Mexicano, and National Guard mobilized units under the banner of Plan DN-3E. This strategic framework allows military assets to take direct control over logistics, security, and humanitarian operations during high-magnitude natural disasters. Armed with specialized ropes and flotation gear, military personnel and municipal firefighters set up tactical interception points along major avenues to pluck stranded motorists from the roofs of their vehicles. Heavy earth-moving machinery was instantly deployed to intersections like Avenidas Tecnológico and Terrenate. Crews worked under heavy downpours to clear tons of mud, uprooted trees, collapsed retaining walls, and urban refuse that threatened to cause secondary damming effects. The state government, led by Governor Alfonso Durazo, coordinated the opening of immediate physical refuges. These safe zones, including the Gimnasio Carlos Hernández Carrera and the DIF Municipal Shelter on Calle Buenos Aires, are actively providing warm meals, medical checkups, and dry clothing to displaced families. The recurring nature of these catastrophic floods has once again sparked sharp criticism from urban planners, engineers, and local residents regarding the long-term design of the city's civil infrastructure. Historically, Nogales, Sonora, was built over a network of natural streams and arroyos. As the border metropolis experienced unchecked rapid industrial and residential expansion to support manufacturing booms, many of these natural waterways were capped, channeled, or paved over to create modern streets. Consequently, whenever a monsoon storm drops significant volume in a short time frame, the water forces its way back into its ancestral paths, transforming streets like Calle 5 de Febrero into high-velocity flumes. Despite an aggressive infrastructure campaign exceeding 500 million pesos directed by the Sonora state government to overhaul the hydraulic framework of Avenida Tecnológico, the extreme volume generated by the current monsoon cell temporarily overtopped the newly engineered culverts. While state officials noted that the hydraulic work significantly mitigated what could have been an even higher loss of life, the structural saturation points highlight that the city requires deeper, comprehensive catchment basin construction further up the surrounding mountain ranges. The State Civil Protection Unit, Unidad de Protección Civil de Sonora, has issued a stern advisory stating that the region's atmosphere remains highly unstable. The interaction of intense daytime heating over the desert terrain with a constant influx of deep tropical moisture from the Gulf of California and the Pacific Ocean ensures that the North American monsoon remains in an active phase. Meteorologists warn that because the ground across Nogales is already thoroughly saturated from the previous 48 hours of rainfall, any subsequent convective storm dropping even a moderate 20 to 30 millimeters of rain will instantly result in immediate surface runoff. There is zero capacity left for the local soil to absorb moisture, meaning flash floods will form substantially faster than they did at the beginning of the week. Governor Alfonso Durazo and emergency response coordinators have issued a mandatory set of behavioral guidelines for all residents within the greater Nogales metropolitan area to prevent further loss of life. Civil protection personnel are authorized to block streets and fine motorists attempting to ford moving water. A mere 15 centimeters, 6 inches, of rushing water possesses enough kinetic energy to knock over a fully grown adult. 30 centimeters, 12 inches, can displace and float a standard vehicle. Workers and families are requested to completely halt non-essential travel during active downpours. If caught on the road, drivers must seek immediate high ground away from known natural basins, such as the Avenida Tecnológico or the Benito Juarez area. Citizens living on hillside colonias, particularly near steep inclines or unreinforced retaining structures, must closely monitor their properties for signs of soil shifting, deep wall cracking, or weeping water, which serve as precursor indicators to imminent mudslides or wall failures. The public is strongly reminded to disregard rumors circulating on unverified social media platforms and to rely solely on the official broadcasts issued by State Civil Protection or the National Meteorological Service, SMN. All legitimate life safety emergencies must be routed immediately through the Central Emergency Services dispatch infrastructure. The cross-border nature of the watershed ensures that emergency teams in both Mexico and the United States will remain in constant tactical communication. As the military continues its cleanup efforts under Plan DN3E, the priority remains fixed on preserving human life and stabilizing the vulnerable urban corridors of Nogales. Meanwhile, a 26-year-old man died buried by a landslide. 3 people were rescued alive from the force of the currents, and dozens of vehicles were stranded during the intense storm that hit Nogales this Saturday, where the streets were once again transformed into riverbeds and runoff caused flooding, damage to infrastructure, and a large deployment of emergency services in the border city of Sonora. The victim died in the Jardines de la Montaña neighborhood, where a landslide caused by soil erosion collapsed part of a house located on Lago Tarapoto Street. Civil Protection, Fire Department, Red Cross, Public Security, and National Defense Secretariat personnel responded to the scene to conduct search and rescue operations, but the young man was already deceased. Juan Gim, mayor of Nogales, confirmed the death and indicated that the city council will provide funeral support to the family, while tours continue to assess damage to homes, remove debris, and restore safe conditions in the affected areas. Saturday's storm, one of the most intense recorded during the current Mexican monsoon season, caused the rapid growth of urban streams and runoff that overflowed roads, swept away dozens of vehicles, and surprised drivers and pedestrians. One of the rescues occurred on Abraham Zaid Street, where a woman was swept away by the current and was brought to safety by emergency personnel. The moment was captured on video by neighbors and shared on social media, showing the force of the water rushing down the street. The State Coordination of Civil Protection also reported that 2 other people were trapped between several cars immobilized by the accumulation of water on Nuevo Nogales Avenue and were rescued without serious injuries. The rains also caused severe disruptions to mobility. Tecnologico Avenue registered one of the largest increases in the flow of the stream that crosses it, while Raquette Boulevard, Abraham Zaid Street, and the fords on the road to the Mascareñas Ejido were identified among the points of greatest risk due to the speed of the currents and the water level. Civil Protection issued a preventive notice urging the population not to cross streams, waterways, or flooded areas, to avoid driving on roads with runoff, and to report any emergency situation to the number 911. In Nogales, Arizona, authorities concluded the search operation that began after Thursday's flooding on Saturday, after locating the bodies of a man and a woman who had been swept away by the current. Ben Guerrero, chief of the Tubac Fire District, confirmed that the search efforts concluded with the discovery of the second victim. During the operation, a third body was also located in the Rio Rico, Arizona area. This case remains under investigation to determine the victim's identity and the circumstances of their death. Rain continued on Saturday on both sides of the border. In Nogales, Arizona, a police patrol car was swept away by floodwaters during another afternoon storm. U.S. authorities have not yet reported any injuries.
Tremendo aguacero que se vino aquí en Nogales, miren. Huracanado, vientos huracanados. Una lluvia sumamente copiosa. Tiene 15 minutos.
Es increíble. Ya no se mira la ley. No. ¿Cuántos se salvaron? Se inundó completamente aquí, miren ese auto. Aquí justo por donde está el abrazón, el tufesa.